My name is Amelia. I am 23 years old. This is my story about the worst thing I ever did. I want to tell you about the day I became a thief. Not because I'm proud of it, but because I learned something important, something that changed my life forever. It was spring when everything fell apart. The trees were blooming outside my apartment window. Birds were singing. Other people seemed happy. But I felt empty inside. Like there was a hole in my chest that nothing could fill. I had just lost my job at the coffee shop. My boyfriend had left me 2 weeks before. My rent was due in 3 days. I had $12 in my bank account, $12 to my name at 23 years old. My mom always said I was smart. Teachers said I had potential. But sitting on my couch that morning, staring at unpaid bills, I felt like the biggest failure in the world. That's when I saw him. His name was Mr. Peterson. He lived in the apartment next to mine. 82 years old. Lived alone. His wife had died last year. I used to hear him talking to her picture through the thin walls. "Good morning, Margaret," he would say every day. "Beautiful day today, isn't it?" It broke my heart. But that morning, my heart was already broken. I had no room for anyone else's pain. I knew Mr. Peterson got his Social Security check on the 1st of every month. I knew because he always asked me to help him to the bank. His hands shook too much to drive. I would walk with him. He would cash his check. Then we would stop at the bakery for coffee and donuts. "You're such a good girl, Amelia," he always said. "Your parents raised you right." Those words felt like knives now. Because I was about to prove him wrong. The idea came to me like poison. Slow at first, then spreading through my mind. Mr. Peterson trusted me. He had given me a spare key to his apartment. "In case of emergencies," he said, "you're the only person I trust around here." I sat on my couch for 2 hours, staring at that key, fighting with myself. The good part of me said, "Don't do this, Amelia. This is wrong. This is not who you are." But the desperate part was louder. "You need this money. You'll be homeless without it. He won't even notice it's gone right away. You can pay him back later." Lies. I was telling myself lies. But when you're drowning, even lies can look like lifeboats. I heard Mr. Peterson leave his apartment. Thursday was grocery day. He would be gone for at least 2 hours. He moved slowly. Had to rest a lot. Always came back tired. My hands were shaking as I picked up the key. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. I walked to his door. The hallway felt like it stretched for miles. "Don't do this," I whispered to myself. "Please don't do this." But I put the key in the lock anyway. It turned with a soft click. The door opened. Mr. Peterson's apartment smelled like coffee and old books. Pictures of his late wife were everywhere. Margaret smiling in their wedding photo. Margaret in the garden. Margaret holding a baby I assumed was their grandchild. I had been in this apartment many times before. For tea. For conversation. He would tell me stories about the old days. About how he met Margaret at a dance in 1963. "She was the prettiest girl in the room," he would say, his eyes lighting up. "Still don't know why she picked an old fool like me." Now I was here to steal from him. The man who had shown me nothing but kindness. The man who worried about me when I looked sad. Who brought me soup when I was sick. I found his wallet on the kitchen table. Right where he always left it. Open. Trusting. The Social Security check was inside. $642. His entire monthly income. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold it. This was his grocery money. his medicine money, his everything money. But I took it anyway. I folded the check and put it in my pocket. My heart was beating so fast I felt dizzy. I looked around the apartment one more time. Everything looked the same. But everything had changed. I had changed. I locked the door behind me, walked back to my apartment, sat on my couch with the check in my hands. $642. It would pay my rent, buy me groceries, give me time to find another job. It solved all my immediate problems. So why did I feel like throwing up? I went to the bank that afternoon, the same bank where I had walked with Mr. Peterson so many times. The teller knew me. "Hi, Amelia," she said with a smile. "Mr. Peterson not with you today?" "He's not feeling well," I lied. Another lie to add to the pile. "He asked me to deposit this for him." She took the check, processed it without question, handed me the cash. $642 in 20s and 50s. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt like I was drowning in guilt. I went home and paid my rent, bought groceries, put gas in my car. Normal things. Things I needed to do. But nothing felt normal anymore. That evening, I heard Mr. Peterson come home. His slow footsteps in the hallway. His keys jingling. His door opening and closing. Then I heard something that made my blood freeze. "Margaret," he said to her picture, "I can't find my Social Security check. I'm sure I left it on the table. I'm getting so forgetful these days." I pressed my ear to the wall. I heard him moving around, opening drawers, looking through papers. "I must have put it somewhere safe," he said. "Too safe, I guess." He laughed, but it sounded worried. "Don't know what I'll do if I can't find it. You know how tight money is since you've been gone." I wanted to run over there, to tell him I had his check, to fix everything. But I couldn't. The money was already spent on rent. I couldn't get it back even if I wanted to. And I was too much of a coward to tell the truth. The next few days were torture. I would hear Mr. Peterson on the phone with the Social Security office, explaining that his check was missing, asking what he should do. "Yes, I understand there might be a delay," he would say. "But I need my medicine. And I'm almost out of food." Each conversation was like a knife in my heart. I had done this to him. This kind, lonely old man who had never hurt anyone. I had stolen his security, his dignity, his trust in the world. But I still didn't confess. I told myself I was protecting him, that knowing the truth would hurt him more. More lies. I was becoming an expert at lying to myself. I started avoiding him. When I heard him in the hallway, I would wait until he was gone. When he knocked on my door, I pretended I wasn't home. "Sarah," he would call. "Are you okay? I haven't seen you in days." His voice was full of genuine concern. For me, the person who had robbed him. It made me sick with guilt. Everything came to a head on a Tuesday morning. I was leaving for a job interview when I found Mr. Peterson sitting in the hallway outside his apartment. He was crying. I had never seen him cry before. This proud, dignified man was broken. And I had broken him. "Mr. Peterson?" I said, forgetting that I was supposed to be avoiding him. "What's wrong?" He looked up at me with red, puffy eyes. "Oh, Sarah. I'm so glad to see you. I've been so worried about you." Worried about me. He was worried about me when he was the one sitting in a hallway crying. "I had to call my daughter," he said. "Had to ask her for money. For the first time in 30 years, I had to ask my child for help." His voice broke. She sent what she could. But she's got her own family to worry about. Her own bills. I hate being a burden. I sat down next to him. My heart was breaking. You're not a burden, Mr. Peterson. I keep looking for that check, he said. Turn the apartment upside down every day. I'm losing my mind, Sarah. Starting to wonder if I even got it at all. Maybe I imagined the whole thing. He was questioning his own sanity. Because of what I had done. This man who had lived 82 years with honor and dignity was doubting himself because of my theft. I couldn't take it anymore. Mr. Peterson, I said, my voice shaking. I need to tell you something. He looked at me with such trust, such hope that maybe I had answers for him. I took your check, I said. The words hung in the air between us. Heavy. Terrible. True. He stared at me for a long moment, confusion on his face, then understanding, then something worse than anger, disappointment. You took it, he whispered. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. I was desperate. I was going to lose my apartment. I was scared. But that's no excuse. There is no excuse. I'm so sorry. He was quiet for a long time, just looking at me. I could see his heart breaking all over again. But this time, it was my fault in a way he could understand. Why didn't you just ask me for help? He said finally. If you were in trouble, why didn't you come to me? That question hit me harder than any anger could have. Because he was right. He would have helped me. This kind, generous man would have found a way to help. Even with his limited income. Even with his own struggles. Instead, I had chosen to steal from him. To betray him. To make him question his own mind. I don't know, I said. And that was the truth. I didn't know why I had chosen the worst possible path. Why I had hurt the one person who cared about me. Mr. Peterson didn't call the police. He didn't scream at me. He didn't even ask for his money back right away. He just looked sad. Deeply, profoundly sad. I trusted you, Sarah, he said. You were like a granddaughter to me. Those words broke something inside me. Something that needed to be broken. My selfishness. My ability to justify terrible things. I went to my apartment and made phone calls. I called my parents, told them everything, asked them to wire me money so I could pay Mr. Peterson back immediately. They were disappointed, shocked, but they helped me. Family helps, even when you don't deserve it. I called the coffee shop where I used to work, begged for my job back. Promised I would work extra shifts. Do whatever it took. My old boss was hesitant, but she gave me a chance. Everyone makes mistakes, Sarah, she said. The question is what you do after. Within 2 days, I had Mr. Peterson's money. All of it. Plus interest, I calculated myself. I knocked on his door with shaking hands. He answered wearing his old cardigan, the one with holes in the elbows. He looked older somehow, like my betrayal had aged him. I have your money, I said, holding out the envelope. All of it, with extra for what I put you through. He took the envelope but didn't open it, just held it in his shaky hands. The money isn't the worst part, Sarah, he said softly. It's the trust. Trust takes years to build. And seconds to destroy. I nodded. I know. And I know I can't fix this. But I want to try. If you'll let me. He looked at me for a long time. I could see him wrestling with himself. The hurt versus his natural kindness. I need time, he said finally. I need to think. I understood. I gave him space. But I didn't give up. Every day, I left groceries by his door. Never expensive things, just basics. Bread, milk, soup, things I knew he needed. I never left a note, never knocked, just left them there. After a week, I found a note under my door. Thank you for the groceries. We need to talk. Mr. Peterson. We met in the hallway the next morning. The same place where I had confessed my crime. Why are you doing this? He asked. The groceries. The help. Why? Because I want to be the person you thought I was, I said. I want to be someone worthy of your trust, even if I never get it back. He nodded slowly. It will take time. I have time, I said. As long as it takes. That was 6 months ago. We're not back to where we were. Maybe we never will be. But we're building something new. Something different. I still help him with groceries. We still have coffee sometimes. But there's a carefulness now. An awareness of fragility. Of how easily trust can be broken. I learned something important from what I did. Being unhappy doesn't give you the right to hurt others. Being desperate doesn't justify betrayal. Everyone is fighting their own battles. Everyone has their own struggles. Mr. Peterson's wife had died. He was lonely, scared, and trying to survive on a fixed income. But I only saw my own pain, my own problems. I made myself the center of the universe and justified terrible actions. The worst part wasn't the theft itself. It was what I became in that moment. Someone who could look at a kind, vulnerable person and see only an opportunity. Someone who could take from those who had less. Someone who could sleep at night after betraying trust. I don't want to be that person ever again. I've learned that there are always other options. Always other ways to solve problems. Pride made me think I had to handle everything alone. Fear made me think desperate times called for desperate measures. Both were wrong. There are people who will help. Organizations that exist to assist. Government programs. Food banks. Community resources. Family and friends who care more than you realize. There are legal ways to make money quickly. Odd jobs. Temporary work. Selling possessions. Asking for help. None of these occurred to me when I was drowning in my own misery. I chose the worst possible solution because I was thinking like a victim instead of taking responsibility for my life. The guilt I felt after stealing was worse than any financial problem I had before. The shame of betraying someone who cared about me was more painful than losing my job or my boyfriend or facing eviction. I damaged something precious, an old man's faith in human goodness. I made him question his own memory and judgment. I added to his loneliness and fear. For money. For temporary relief from problems that had other solutions. It wasn't worth it. It will never be worth it. If you're reading this and you're struggling, please know that I understand. I understand feeling desperate. Feeling alone. Feeling like you're out of options. But you're not. There are always other choices. Better choices. Choices that let you keep your dignity and your relationships and your ability to look at yourself in the mirror. Reach out for help. Swallow your pride. Ask questions. Research resources. Talk to people who care about you. Don't do what I did. Don't let desperation turn you into someone you don't recognize. Don't hurt innocent people to solve your problems, because you'll have to live with it forever. And the person you hurt will carry that betrayal with them always. Choose better. Be better. You have that power, even when everything seems hopeless. If you've ever felt like me, desperate, alone, and considering choices that scare you, you're not alone. But please, choose differently than I did. Choose hope over fear. Choose honesty over deception. Choose to be someone you can be proud of, even in your darkest moments. The world needs more kindness, not more pain. Start with yourself.